Oh, hey Hollywood. Sorry, didn't see you there. I was just reading a comic that's tangentially related to the topic of this video. By the way, saw the Sonic movie, didn't hate it. More gloves, less teeth, James Marsden's cheekbones, fun. Jim Carrey dancing, also fun. But there was something about it that kind of bugged me. Something I've wanted to talk to you about now for a while, and I think now's as good a time as any. I think we need to retire this scene.
Look at this! I took 9 million steps today.
Do you remember a movie named Clockstoppers, Hollywood? It was from 2002. It isn't anything particularly memorable about the movie outside of the most early 2000s soundtrack in history. I mean, just pure, beautiful 2000s trash. But the plot of Clockstoppers is about a kid who finds a watch that lets him stop time. Kind of. He actually speeds up so much that time appears to be standing still. And he does normal 2000s kid stuff with it, helps his friend DJ real good, makes a dog pee on a police officer's car. It was, as we said then, off the chain. So Clockstoppers comes and goes. Fast forward to 2014. 2014 was a weird time. We had Gangnam Style, a terrible Super Bowl, a plane disappeared, and people on CNN were trying to figure out if it went through a black hole. But it wasn't all bad news. Besides Kesha's Timber finally getting the attention it deserved, the X-Men franchise was ready to capitalize on a wildly successful reboot in the form of X-Men First Class. So naturally, Fox decided to immediately kill most of the supporting characters from the reboot and make a movie with the older characters directed by the guy who directed the old movies. And while it seemed like Days of Future Past would exclusively feature characters we've seen before, we were getting a few new mutants that fans had been asking for a while. And the Fox X-Men movies had been super hit or miss when it comes to adapting mutant powers that aren't just punching. For every Nightcrawler, you have a Bishop. For every Psylocke, you have a Darwin. For every Deadpool, you have a Deadpool. So when I found out that Quicksilver was going to be a big part of Days of Future Past, I was a little worried. Not because I didn't think that kind of power would work, but because that kind of power had not been present in a superhero movie before, or at least not in a little while. We'll get to that later. But wow, the Quicksilver scene, also known as the time in a bottle scene, where Quicksilver rescues Wolverine, Professor X, and Magneto from the Pentagon, was a game changer. It was beautiful, it was funny, and most importantly, it was new. Easily the most memorable scene in that movie, and surprise, surprise, Hollywood, you seem to have learned the wrong lesson. We wanted more speedsters, but we got more Clockstoppers. First, there was a different and legally distinct Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron, then Quicksilver's back for X-Men Apocalypse, the Flash shows up in the Justice League, and then Quicksilver's back again, this time for Dark Phoenix. And even though all of those characters are speedsters, or characters whose superpowers they run really fast, that's not what these became. There's a great Wired article from about a year ago by a writer named Rhett Allen. In the article, Allen attempts to calculate the speed of Quicksilver during the scene in X-Men Apocalypse where Quicksilver saves everyone from the mansion. Rhett looks at how many people Quicksilver saves, how quickly he does it, and also tries to calculate how much time Quicksilver spends just playing darts and goofing around. And at the end of the article, Rhett comes to a very interesting conclusion. One last point. I don't think Quicksilver runs fast. Instead, I think he has the ability to control time. He can make time slow down around him such that it looks like he is running fast. That means that he doesn't have to have super high accelerations or coefficients of friction and stuff, but who cares how he works? He's still a superhero. And that's the point, and the lesson that I hope we can apply to future movies about speedsters. This time stop power is not the same as super speed. Practically, sure. From the perspective of Sonic the Hedgehog, or Quicksilver, or the other Quicksilver, or the Flash, things may be moving slowly around them, and maybe they react to their surroundings as if those things aren't moving at all. But as my co-host Chris Diggins said on the Mostly Nitpicking podcast, where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details, woohoo! That's not what's fun about super speed. Speed is supposed to be thrilling, dynamic, gets your heart pumping. Time stop is not that. Time stop is a flourish, a garnish. It is at the top of the speedster superpower food pyramid. You're supposed to use it sparingly every so often to accent the fun stuff. It only works as a departure from normal super speed. Think of it this way. Which is more fun? Riding a roller coaster at 80 miles per hour or walking the length of a roller coaster at a leisurely pace? And it isn't like Sonic or Flash or Quicksilver or other Quicksilver only use super speed in the form of time in a bottle clock stopper moments, but it has become the default. It's what you expect from a speedster in a movie, and at least for me, it just isn't as fun. It kills me that we have spent 5 movies with the 3 highest profile speedsters, outside of maybe Speedy Gonzales and the Roadrunner, and the bulk of their action has been spent in slow motion. And the crazy part is, in 2004, 16 years ago, 10 years before X-Men Days of Future Past, we figured this out. One of, if not the most memorable scenes in Pixar's The Incredibles is the 100-mile dash. The scene where Dash uses his super speed to escape Syndrome's goons who are flying those big spinny saw blade plane thingies, and I would argue that this scene is the most effective use of super speed that has ever been put to film. Director Brad Bird and his team use every trick in the book. We cut between shots from Dash's perspective, the goons' perspectives, wide tracking shots, stationary shots, following Dash from the front and behind and weaving in and out of the chase. And as Dash speeds up, he runs out of the frame, forcing the cameraman to catch him with a new angle. There's a real sense of urgency made even more present by Michael Giacchino's incredible score. Dash has small victories and defeats, he escapes some goons but then accidentally runs off a cliff. And since the 100-mile dash all takes place in real time, every twist and turn in the momentum of the chase creates suspense as we try to solve these problems with Dash. You don't get any of this with the clock stoppers time in a bottle stuff. We're always safe. There's no tension. It almost seems like a cop-out. Hey, this character can run so fast, they'll never really be in any danger, so might as well just let them have fun. And hey, when their superpower would solve all the problems and end the movie, we'll just write them out. Either they won't go with the heroes, or they will break their leg, or break every bone in their body, or something like that. But we need tension to appreciate speed. And it isn't like this has never been done before in other genres of movies. Think about a good car racing movie. A car chase and a speedster chase work with many of the same principles, dynamic camera work, a driving score, but the speedsters are able to do things that a car chase can't. So we should not be okay with wasting our few good comic and video game speedsters on slow speed. Hollywood, I'm only bringing this up now because we have some other movies coming out in the near future featuring characters with super speed, and I think we need to sort this out. For instance, there might be a Power Pack movie on the horizon, and one of the characters in the Power Pack has super speed. One of the Eternals has super speed. Cheetah from Wonder Woman 84 traditionally has super speed. There's a character who may or may not show up in one of the Disney Plus shows whose name is Speed. And most importantly, seems like eventually we are going to get a Flash movie. A movie where Barry Allen or Wally West, but probably Barry Allen, is the main character and his sole superpower is super speed. A superpower that cannot only be visualized in time in a bottle moments. And the funny thing about this movie, this Flash solo movie, is that it doesn't seem to be able to keep a director. They've gone through 5 at this point, and they haven't even started production. So we are gifted with a moment to really think about this and make sure we have the right team on board to make this movie a success. There are plenty of directors out there that can do this correctly. Anyone that's ever directed a Fast and Furious movie is probably a good place to start. And there are some directors like Stephen Chow who have a great eye for fast-paced combat. And then even some like Edgar Wright who've done both. But in my mind, there is a single pair of directors who, more than anyone else working now, really understand speed. Who've made movies about characters who fight at super speed, who've made movies about characters who drive at super speed. I am of course talking about the Wachowskis. We need to get Lena and Lily Wachowski to direct a Flash movie. I don't care if they're busy with Matrix, wait. Because, Exhibit A, the Matrix movies. Yeah, Reloaded has some problems, but man, scenes like that Chateau fight are exactly what a Flash hand-to-hand fight scene should look like. He's a step ahead of his attackers, dodging and weaving his way out of danger and every so often landing a hit. But Exhibit B, the big exhibit, Speed Racer. If you haven't seen Speed Racer, I get it. It was big and colorful, and so much so that audiences didn't really know what to do with it, and, it didn't help that it came out right after a little picture called Iron Man. But watch it and you'll understand. Speed Racer was ahead of its time. It is bold, bright, and when it comes to racing scenes, the cars become superhuman. Cars are slipping and sliding like snowboards, doing backflips, kicking other cars into other cars, and we're all doing it at super high speed. It is thrilling, and it happens to feature another amazing score by Michael Giacchino. The characters don't get lost in the action either. We're always getting a look at other characters' reactions so that we can really sell the danger in every moment. And sure, every so often, time ends up in a bottle. Everything slows down. We get just a moment to savor some danger or an especially beautiful maneuver, something to appreciate, but we never hold on it too long, so we never lose the tension. Because that's what speed is. It is the purest form of tension. Racing and chase scenes have been a part of movies since the beginning. Sure, you could rob a bank, but why not rob a train? You could shoot some stormtroopers, but why not do it on the back of a speeder bike in the middle of a forest? You could fight a Terminator, but why not do it on a motorcycle in the viaduct? Superheroes should be no different. In summation, Hollywood. I get how we ended up here. Quicksilver scene in Days of Future Past was a huge hit. I understand why you want to replicate that. But we have a chance here to make a movie about the most influential speedster in comic history, maybe in the history of popular culture. I know it sounds dumb, but we need to let speed be fast. Oh, and one more thing. We've been talking a lot for the last 10-15 minutes about how awesome speed can be in movies, but it doesn't have to end there. Speed can also be awesome in your everyday life. Like, odds are you're watching this video on a computer or a phone or something like that. Maybe you're watching it on a TV, but still, you have a computer or a phone, and we expect a lot from those devices in terms of speed. You want your computer to turn on quickly. You want your pages to load in a second. You want your games to play at a high speed. But one thing that can always slow us down is the time it takes to enter information. You are the limiting factor because you are not the Flash. You are not Sonic the Hedgehog. You are not one of the Quicksilvers. But you can be if you use Dashlane. Dashlane is a mobile and desktop app that gives you a shortcut for everything you do online. You log in instantly, you fly through forms, you breeze through checkouts on every device you own. So let's say you come up to a form, and you have a lot of things to fill, your name, your address, your phone number. Dashlane shows up, boom, it's all filled out. And this isn't locking you into a single system, it works across Mac, Windows, iPhone, Android. They're not selling your data. You don't need a credit card, it's ad-free. Dashlane lets you be a speedster online. And if you go to dashlane.com/Nando, Nando, you can get a free 30-day trial of Dashlane Premium where you can see all the features in action, try out Dashlane for yourself. If you like it, use the coupon code NANDO, again, Nando, at checkout for a 10% off discount. Dashlane is awesome. Give it a look. It's basically online super speed. Hey, it's me, Nando. I don't have video for the outro this week, so instead I'm going to use that scene from Age of Ultron where Quicksilver gives a really drawn-out origin speech. As always, I have to give a huge thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing. You've probably already heard of my Illuminati tier, where patrons get to suggest and then vote on topics for my monthly whiteboard videos. This last month, we did one on how Justin Hammer could be the new big bad of Phase 4. I think it was very interesting. It was a lot of fun, so we're going to do another one of those in March. If you want to make suggestions and vote on what those videos are about, throw in $5 or more at patreon.com/NandoVMovies. If you just want to watch the videos or any of the older ones, you throw in literally any amount of money at patreon.com/NandoVMovies. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate it. As always, listen to my podcast, Mostly Nitpicking, where every week me and my co-hosts DJ and Diggins pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. As far as speedsters are concerned, we did an episode on Sonic, we did an episode on Dark Phoenix, was a lot of fun. Pretty sure we did an episode on XMen Apocalypse, maybe Days of Future Past. If that Flash movie ever gets made, we'll make one about that. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are at NitPickingPod on Twitter. Last thing, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is just Nando V Movies. It's where I post updates on videos and podcasts and where I make my predictions. Like I said recently, I'll put down dollars to donuts that the character Christian Bale's playing in Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be Gore the God Butcher, for reasons such as this is the first movie with multiple Thors and multiple gods. This would be a great place to add Hercules from the Olympian gods and have Gore going after all of them. Also, this is where we're going to get introduced to Jane Foster, the mighty Thor. But also, I think Christian Bale would be a good Gore because Gore is traditionally starved and very thin, and Christian Bale has a very specific set of skills where he loves to lose a lot of weight for roles. So I think this would be a great role for which Christian Bale could lose a lot of weight. Not that I'm saying he should, but he probably will. Anyway, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter and Instagram. Please give me a follow. That is all I've got. I will see you next time.